Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. Just gonna share with you some shots using the Seek Thermal on various terrain and environments from various distances using various filters that the software offers at this point. So right now I'm just sort of in a car here and I'm using the white filter, which I think is the best filter for revealing detail, definitely. You can see some of the veins in my hand there. And there is various filters, but the white is definitely the one that permits you to have the sharpest image. In my limited experience with the device, that's what I found. So this is a shot of my hand here. You can see the actual veins within the hand. I thought that was pretty cool. So there's, potentially as if you're an IV user, sad to say, if you're doing that, there could be applications for you for this app. But no, more seriously, it definitely could have some medical applications in that respect in terms of finding veins, of course, with the assistance of a trained health professional. Now, this is one of the popular applications that's marketed by the Seek, and it's stud finding. So I found that it does work on some walls. Here you can see it's pretty distinct. You can see the studs in the wall there. As you get closer, it gets harder to sort of discern, so you really have to kind of keep your eye on it. But you can see I did find it there. And do the knock test. Definitely works. You can see the heat signatures left behind by my fingerprints. So it definitely works well for that. It depends on the wall though, and it depends on the insulation, and internal walls are a little less clear. Walls that are facing outside are a bit more distinct when it comes to that. So just to give you another idea of the heat residues that are left behind. So, if somebody was creeping around and you wanted to know what they were touching, granted they were touching it long enough and there was enough temperature contrast, you could potentially play Sherlock Holmes and figure out what they were doing or what they were touching within within a short period of time. Obviously those heat signatures don't remain that long. This is just a general shot of the Seek allows you to sort of compare side by side using your phone's camera compared. You can see that radiator over there is on. The one on the left here is not on. And you can see the studs going through the wall again. This is in a track, so I went to the local track and field, and the people you're seeing here are between 100 meters and, of course, my hand, which is a few inches away. The closer people get, the more distinct the image gets. The image quality past 50 meters is a little sketchy. I mean, that's what you're getting for a $200 thermal device when typically these machines can go up to $6,000. So, you get what you pay for, I suppose. Still definitely works. You can see the lights there in the distance. You can see people for several hundred, well, I'd say about 150 meters. This is another filter. This is the cool filter. It's one of the second best one, I would say, and allows you to really sort of, doesn't really identify as well, but allows you to detect. Now this is a function which picks up the highest and lowest temperatures, and you can see the actual temperature assessment, temperature gauging is only effective when the object is, I'd say within about 30 meters. After that, it can still show you the image contrast, but it won't be able to provide you an accurate temperature reading. So this is using it outside on a bridge. Those cars are coming from about 300 meters. They're visual from about 300 meters, vaguely, and become more pronounced as they approach. Here you see them leaving, so you can get a better sense of how far away you can detect a vehicle from, if there was a vehicle approaching at night with their, that had a quiet engine and no headlights. You could potentially detect them. Especially if it was a windy night or something like that, when you couldn't rely on auditory cues. So of course it depends on how long the vehicle's been running, how hot it's, how much heat and infrared heat it's emitting. That's going to depend on the sharpness of the image. You can see that car probably was, on a bit longer because it's leaving much more distinct heat signature there. This is up close. In Canada, we're already down to minus 20s, believe it or not, in Saskatchewan. So you can see the white filter does provide a distinct image. The hotter what it is you're looking for in comparison to the backdrop, the hotter the foreground background contrast, I should say, the sharper your image quality is going to be. Seek Thermal actually does have a pretty good pixel rate as far as these sort of devices go for handheld phones. This is just a parking lot, so you can tell which cars have been driven recently if you sort of walk up to them and get some detail. Any ones which are white have been driven recently. It's side by side. You can see you can't see anything when there's a person walking towards. Can't see anything when it's in the normal camera vision, but you can see a lot more when you're putting the infrared thermal filter over it. Just the engine of a car, side by side. Once again, the image quality isn't that distinct. It's not going to be as good as the FLIR1, the FLIR1 for the iPhone, which is a $400 device, which does provide better image quality, or the Thermap, which uses the Thermap is for Android. I think it might be for iPhone also, but they use the phone's camera. So the Seek Thermal doesn't actually use the phone's camera. It uses its own camera, and it's contrasting with the camera. That's why they're, as you can see there, the camera is zoomed in on the Seek Thermal image and zoomed out on the camera image. You can see the heat emitting from that building. You can see the hot spots. If you wanted to, you could put the temperature gauge on there. Doesn't really work too well from a distance. It really all depends though. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You can see there's some reflections are emitted through the heat. I'm not sure. I guess some infrared is reflected by various things. So you can see the detail here on little baby prepper. And this is all white filter in the infrared thermal range. So that's why I like the white one, is because actually no, this is the black filter. Actually, this is the black. So the black is the heat. The white is the cool. So this is the white filter. Baby prepper is fine, just so everybody knows. Very well taken care of. And last but not least, this is the, actually this isn't the last one, this is the hot, actually this is the cool filter. So this one really, if you're not good with discerning whites and blacks, it really depends on how good your vision is, and there's, I don't know, prepper. Depending on how good your vision is and what your color range is for your eyes, that might determine what filter is going to work best for you. I think this might be the similar filter. There's about 6 or 7 different filter types. Many of them I probably would never use. Here's baby prepper side by side. You get a close up of them there. Yawning away. So you can see the heat left behind. I was just sitting on the couch. Can't be seen with the naked eye, of course, and it does quickly dissipate. So here's some foods being cooked, and you can see the temperature rating. Seek claims it can go up to, I can't remember if it's 400 100 degrees Celsius, minus 40 and 400 degrees Celsius. So very hot. It definitely can detect into the very hot ranges. As you can see there, it's right on a hot element. Depending on what's in the background, like I say, the foreground and background contrast will be what determines the color of what you see. So that's the food there, which as you can see is not cooked enough yet. The fish, it's only at 21 degrees. That water is almost boiling. It looks like it is kind of starting to boil now. Yeah, and now it is boiling. Of course, at 100 degrees. So it gives you a sense of the accuracy. It is accurate the closer you are. Plus or minus 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. And there's Mama Prepper, probably giving me shit for something, for playing around on the Seek. You can see the heat signature is left behind there when I sat. This is, I don't know, Prepper. I'm getting her to run out. Everything is pitch black right now, and so you couldn't. We live sort of on the rural, right on the borderline with the rural, and so there's actually no street lights here, and she's running away. Actually, no, there is street lights in this part, and the part coming up there isn't. So you can see she's running away for a good time. You can sort of distinguish if you're in a region where there's a lot of hot stuff around you. It's going to be harder to distinguish what's coming at you, because they raise the sort of relative temperatures, which makes the color difficult. So just so you know, you can't see through glass with the Seek Thermal. As you can see here, this is from the car. Another cold day, so you can't see through the glass. You roll down the window and of course you can see. Ground, which is apparently warmer than the air. So this outside here is just showing you a house. So you can see where the house needs insulation. There's a lot of heat escaping there from where the basement, from where the foundation meets the structure. And so this is another good application for the Seek, just identifying where heat is coming from. And I said this before, that in an SHTF situation or something like that, if you need to find a place that was warmer to reside, this would be a useful tool, or it would sort of let you know if there were people in a house, just because it would be a bit warmer. And if you've seen the heat being emitted, you could pretty much guarantee that there was something or some people in there. And last but not least, I wanted to share with you the infamous predator vision. Of course, this predator vision with Baby Prepper. It's a cool filter, but once again, it's not the best in terms of resolution or being able to identify what it is you're seeing. But it certainly looks cool. So I just thought I'd share a few more shots of the Seek Thermal with you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and if I can answer them, I will. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.